Welcome to the Off Tackle with John Fina Show on the Overreaction Sports Network.
Preseason Game 2 hangover to all of you Bills Mafia out there. You're all a little bit hungover, I understand, but thank you for joining the Sahlen's Off Tackle Show with John Fina, presented by FanDuel. Thanks for joining us today. It's me and Jerry O. Joe Miller has the night off. I don't know how we gave him the night off, but he's taking it. So thanks for joining us, whether you're at home listening to this live, whether you pick this up in podcast form, anywhere and everywhere. We appreciate you listening. We're very proud of our network. Don't forget to go to overreactionbuffalo.com, where you're going to see all the articles nationwide written about our beloved Buffalo Bills. Thanks for coming in. Jerry O, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing good, man. I'm still a bit of a whirlwind from last night. Obviously, Sean McDermott and the staff, Brandon Beane, obviously not much emphasis placed upon games. You probably would say, and I'm sure it's been said many times, that their actual preseason game was Friday when they had the joint practice. But we got to see a lot of the backups, a lot of the rookies last night, a lot of guys that they're counting on, or I shouldn't say a lot of guys, a couple guys they're counting on that have been hurt and haven't got a ton of reps. So it was interesting. But as they say, deja vu all over again. Pretty much a rinse, wash, and repeat of last season's preseason game against the Bears.
Jerry, you just said something that made me, just generate this question. Okay, so it's obvious that Sean McDermott doesn't care about preseason games. So they come out practice against the Bears on Friday, have a rip-roaring practice, and then there's this we don't care about preseason game sort of atmosphere. Do you think that's a mistake insofar as generating really good quality play by the guys you want to see something from? Do you think it's just kind of like a mental dip? Okay, we did the practice. Now the game is meaningless. Our coach thinks it's meaningless. How do you get up for that? Do you think that's a problem?
Well, I think it's systemic across the team. I mean, and I'll give you my reason in a second, but you look at tonight, for instance, the Bengals are playing the Washington Commanders. Both teams start their starting quarterbacks. Joe Burrow goes all the way into the second quarter for the Bengals. Jaden Daniels plays the majority of the first quarter for the Commanders. Then you look at last night with Caleb Williams and the Bears, and you kind of have to internalize what you're looking at and what the situation is. The Bears are trying to build a culture. They're trying to change the way that they have been the last so many years.
Yep.
Ben Johnson, new head coach. Everything that they do has meaning to it. You look at the Bengals. The Bengals have had the worst starts in football for the last 4 to 5 years. No wins, 1-5, 1-4, and then they missed the playoffs with a 9-8 record. The Commanders, second-year quarterback. So I think that last night, for instance, you got a team that's trying to arrive and a team that's already arrived. But to turn this back into what you had to say, John, it's true. I mean, we're players. I mean, we did it. You understand what it was like. I mean, I would not doubt if most of those guys that did not play were down having a fine dinner with a couple of bottles of fine wine in Chicago, enjoying themselves. And it permeates everybody.
That's right.
And you try not to, but it permeates everybody.
And that's the point I made last night. I think if you saw the starters come in for one drive, there would be a totally different feeling. But from the moment they enter the locker room before the game, it's just kind of flat. Hey, and thanks again for joining us, the Sahlen's Off Tackle Show with me, John Fina, and Jerry O joining me. Don't wish your summer away, Jerry. Summer is dwindling now, but there's still a lot of time, Jerry. Get out there and grill some hot dogs. Sahlen hot dogs since 1869. Jerry, it's a 5-generation family-owned business with 100+ dedicated employees. And good for me, I can order them online at Sahlen.com. And in 35 other states, you could find a local retailer. So do yourself a favor. Take summer all the way to the end, throw some Sahlens on the grill, and enjoy a high-quality hot dog, not to mention all their great deli meats and all the wonderful products from Sahlen. Go to Sahlen.com, order your hot dogs today.
Full disclosure, I started radio on Wednesday, and one of my sponsors for my show is Hasty Bake, which is the oldest grill in America, the oldest American-made charcoal grill in America. It's like the perfect match, man. I say it all the time. It's like the peanut butter meets the chocolate, and you just have this magical deal. We got Sahlen's on the John Fina Show. We got Hasty Bake on the Big O Show. The two of them go together. You add some Weber's, and it's just,
I know you beat me to it. Add some Weber's, and we're good to go.
But I have to agree with Sal to kind of go with what we were talking about. We're not playing the Cardinals' first game last year. Took 3 quarters to get rolling. First team offense better play next week. I don't know your thoughts on this, John, but honestly, if they didn't play in the first 2 games, well, then why the hell would they play in the third game? Because you're now 1 week closer to the regular season. You can't afford nicks and bruises now. You're 1 week away. So to me, I just don't see him playing. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see him playing.
Oh, they're still going to do what we did back in the day. They're going to get out there for a drive or a quarter. And at the very least, Josh will play 1 drive, and you'll keep the starters in for a full quarter is my guess. Jerry, game speed is so much different than practice speed, and game shape is different than training shape. I think they got to go out. But you know what? I'm not going to sit here and fight with you because
I'm not fighting. But the point
because I would lose.
The point I'm going to make is this. We're down to John. Remember, 4 preseason games in the old days. First game, you really didn't do much, if anything. Second game, you got your few drives. Third game, hey, going to halftime because, hell, I've only been playing this game for 10 years. I can't remember what it's like to come out after a halftime and get a series, but that's what we would do. And in the fourth game, nobody did anything. Well, we're now to the new fourth game, being the third game. That's why I'm a little bit hesitant to think that they're going to roll the starters out. But they might. I mean, after last week's game or this week's game last night and what we saw, maybe they do. I don't know. I'm not banking on it, but I could be wrong.
I think we got to have a bet here. I think we got an 8-pack of Sahlen's hot dogs on the line right now.
All right, 8-pack of Sahlen's and a 12-pack of long drink. Let's do that.
All right, we're not talking about length of time. 12-pack of long sugar-free, baby, sugar-free.
Okay. I'm on the sugar-free train too, so let's do that.
All right,
Sahlen's and some long drink.
But the string on the deal is you got to collect in person. So either I got to go to Oklahoma or you got to come back to Arizona. I just played that TCC course again. Both Jerry and I played Brookfield in Buffalo, New York with our dear friends Ken and Ryan. And you know what? I'm blessed. We had a great time. I got the Jim Kelly lightweight hoodie on right now. It's so luxurious. It's almost putting me to sleep. But we can't go to sleep, Jerry. And I'll tell you one thing. We have a lot of people all over social media just screaming about what another defensive draft bust we've had. These guys are no good. They look at a couple of plays, they see a couple long drives. And I think if you're a real fan, if you really know the game, it requires you to dig in. And we're going to dig in a little bit. Well, I don't want to keep anybody long, right? Because it's late. Turn off that other game since it's meaningless. Turn off that game. Tune in. Get yourself to a laptop tomorrow and check it out. We're going to put up a couple of highlights. I want to show you what you bought, Jerry. I'm a fan of these guys, and I never count anybody out until a couple years down the road. It takes a long time to develop in this league. You go from dominating college players, some of which are A and B caliber and some of which are C caliber. You get to this league at the NFL. These are all A caliber guys. These are world-class athletes. Sometimes our bodies didn't look like it, but damn it all, we're world-class athletes.
No, I agree. And I think that there was some good things out of this game last night. And I know it's hard to get through the 3 bullet points that have been beaten to death over the last, we're not even 24 hours after this game. And, we can't even get past the safety room before we can actually think about getting the actual good points. And I'm happy that we're covering the defensive line tonight and the young guys. There were some good things. There were some bad things. But I truly believe, like you do, and we talked about it off air, there's some good talent in that room, and I think they're going to be just fine when they start doing the things game plan wise that emphasizes what they do well.
Yeah, you're right. And I'm going to bring up the first clip here and Jerry's favorite running play. You see power back in the NFL again. You got to love it. We're going to talk about one good thing on this play and one not so fantastic thing, but can be fixed very easily. So I'm going to bring this up. Let's bring it up. Where is it? There we go. All right. This is power. All right. So we're going to run on your screen. It's going to be the Chicago Bears running from the weak side to the strong side toward the tight end. You're going to have a double team power. Now, as you're watching this, I want you to I'm going to run it a couple times, and I'll run it through once the first time. You can either look just off the screen as Landon Jackson. His responsibility when he reads power, he should be crashing on the guard. And that's not the great thing on this play, but the great thing is watch what Deion Walker does to the center on the back block, Jerry.
Okay.
Right there, a little pause. Bam. Dumps him. One more time for you. Landon Jackson comes upfield. He's got to crash harder, compress the hole.
When John uses the term crash, what that means is when Landon Jackson comes out of his stance, he sees the quarterback and he's running unabated to the quarterback. He has to sense this trapper coming and shut it down, stop his path, and actually squeeze down inside to reduce that gap, reduce that hole to where that trap is much harder. And then if he does that, the running back will hence bounce outside to the C gap where you got all the fast guys that can get them on the ground.
That's right. You always want guys to run lateral when they're trying to run toward the line of scrimmage. If you can make them run lateral, you're going to get great run support on the edge. The next thing, so we're talking about compressing it on the front side, but the positive aspect of this play is Deion Walker taking the back block from the center, and now he's already got the center off balance. And we talk about compressing the hole. Landon should be compressing it from one side and Deion Walker from the other. And
the other thing, go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
And there's the compression. That poor center, he's going to land on his coccyx there and have a deep bruise.
Well, the thing is that Deion Walker actually saves TJ Sanders bacon in this play because TJ showing one of the things that we talked about with him and maybe as a weakness, his ability to take on pure double teams. He's the guy at the point of attack, the three technique that's getting doubled by the tackle and the guard. And when he gets removed from the B gap, Walker actually takes the center and puts him in the B gap and plays A gap as well. So he's playing B with the center and then sitting in A gap with his own body, which in tune kind of bails Sanders out because he's high. His head's above those two offensive linemen's heads. His hat's high, and he gets blown out of there, which I'll be honest with you. Then if you watch some other plays, when he moves, he makes some great plays when he's slanting and angling. So this is the one area that he has to get better at in the league.
And this is about growing up, like understanding that the right tackle, right guard in this game are far better than the guys you played in your conference in college, right? This is the cream of the crop. So listen, you bought some good things here. These are young guys. What you can't replace is great effort, and they're showing it on this play. Later on, and it fits in spurts, sometimes that effort drops off. And I think that's why you got that interview with Coach McDermott where he was not pleased. And you know what? That happens, right? That's how you talk to these guys. You set a level of expectation. You expect that they're going to deliver. And when they don't, you got to let them have it.
You know, you have to think about this, John, and you're 100% correct. When you roll your 2s and 3s out against another team's 1s, you expect to physically probably get beat. That's just the way it is. What you don't expect is poor effort and poor execution. Now, you know, you might get out physicaled, you might get beat by a better player, but you shouldn't get, out executed and you shouldn't get out hustled and all those things, especially young guys, because they got that juice from, just coming out of college and everything else. So point is really good.
Yeah. It's all about the learning curve, right? It's all about the learning curve. All right, next play up. All right, I just enjoyed this play. This is Javon Solomon, And I like his effort off the ball. He's going to rush the passer over the right tackle. But the one thing, and I'm going to run it, my coaching point on Javon, Jerry, I mentioned to you earlier, you might not have looked at this play very closely. Tell me what you think, and I'll run it in real time right now. There's a snap.
The one thing that I did see is that tackle did a really good job of getting out of his stance and getting to his spot. When John and I make the comment about getting to your spot, he does that, which basically forces Javon Solomon to have to bull rush. He does get push, okay? He does get some push. The problem is he's late with his counter move. He's a little bit hesitant with some stutter step things. He's got to get off this block sooner, because with this push and that inside guy staying in A gap, now look at all that room. He's got a two-way go. He's got an inside go. Now, I will say this. We don't know how he's being coached right now. Okay, he might not be allowed to go inside because of these four-man rushes. They go ahead and they really do. They have some pretty strict pass rush rules, but still that much inside space, you got to take it, because with the depth of the tackle on the bull rush, Caleb Williams is going to have to bounce before he gets downhill. So it should give the rest of your squad time to get there.
Yeah, and he gets great movement on the bull rush, right? I mean, he gets really nice movement. My biggest concern is, and we see this a lot from Epinesa, we see it from Rousseau, right about there, he takes those 2 or 3 stutter steps, and that's going to eat up about half to 3/4 of a second. It also takes away some of his power. Now, this is a strong kid because he gets a good lift on that tackle, and he moves him a good 3 or 4 yards. He's a little late on the second move, but by and large, I like what I see.
Yeah, and one thing about Solomon, John, is he's got built-in leverage. He's not a very tall guy, so he's got built-in leverage. His hat's down to the chin level of the offensive lineman. He gets some good push with it. But, yeah, a little bit more urgency with that rush as opposed to the stutter steps and the choppy stuff.
All right, the next one, I just want to wet your whistle. Obviously, this gentleman is not available until, week 6 or week 7, and he is a dog.
You just gave me odds at it.
This guy, Hoyt, is just an animal. There he is, lined up over the right or the tight end, sorry. But watch what he does here. It's not about the result of the play. It's about the effort and about the nonstop. He presses the tight end, squeezes the hole, and he gets the tackle from the other side, from the corner, I believe, coming off the edge. But it's the physical nature, the blast of the hands, staying square. He'd be able to redirect if he had to. Jerry, come on, talk me through this one. This is nice.
Well, the biggest thing about this is you got to, these defensive linemen have gap responsibility, and it's not avoid the man in front of you. You have to play through the man in front of you into your gap, and that's what he's doing here. He is controlling this block. The tight end has no leverage, has no hands, has no chance. And, play after play after play, sometimes, Hoyt might get beat. All defensive linemen do. But the fact is he's technique sound. He knows where he's supposed to be. Now, this is the difference, though. If you rewind it, John, and you look at this, you got, 37 rookie, 93, I believe he's a rookie, 71's a rookie, Andreessen's second year, and a guy that's played, 6 years in the league or more? So you can see the difference in experience of just it was similar to when we were at the Giants game, and you go out and you've watched certain guys play, then you watch Joey Bosa play the run, and it's like it stands out. It's so different. And that's how I look at this film. Hoyt stands out because he's that much different.
And the beauty of the opportunity is that all of these guys can come back and digest this film and look at the guys that are playing in front of them and say, okay, that's the type of effort, that's the type of technique I have to exhibit. I've got my arms locked out. I've got the tight end compressed. Not that that's a huge deal, beating up on a tight end. I mean, they're not fantastic, but you still have to make the play. And I think just he's keeping the C gap on his left. He's got him extended. He's compressing the hole at the same time. So again, this podcast about the D-line is not to tear them up, because we all watched the game last night. Anybody can do that. I want to show you what you bought and what's coming.
93 is actually Zion Logue, who's very, very good on first and second down. Not much of a pass rusher, but he does have experience as well.
That's true, and he looked actually pretty good last night, to be fair.
He does in the run. Yes, he does.
Yes, he does. In the run. In the run. All right. I like this play, Jerry. I'm going to run it for you. I just was looking at the effort across the board and not great results, but the movement, the explosiveness. I'm going to run it for you. We're talking about Hoyt, Sanders, and the big Deion Walker. Here we go. Show a little blitz, show a little movement. I just want to show the explosiveness. All right. Pick anybody you want right now. Sorry, it was Javon Solomon. Oh, no, it was Hoyt. Pardon me.
It was Hoyt.
Yeah, it's Hoyt. Look at Hoyt coming off. No hesitation. Straight in. Sets the inside hand on the breastplate. That, to me, that's what I want to see Javon Solomon do. Let's see if I can pause it right at that spot right there.
But see, what he's done – go ahead, John, and I'll tell you what
you go. You go.
What I think is awesome about this rush is – He's put himself in an advantage by his get off, like you talked about. His get off is so good that this tackle has to I wouldn't say overset, but definitely pay a ton of attention to that outside because of the get off. And with all that tackle's momentum going outside, it sets up this inside hand of Hoyt to where he can get it and go ahead and use that tackle's momentum, almost like a mini version of the Reggie White hump move to get inside. The difference now, when you look at the other side of the screen, I think Landon Jackson has all the tools. My thing about Landon Jackson right now is I don't know what his plan is. I don't know if he has a plan. And you know as well as anybody, because you played out there. I played the right side. You've always played the left side. And it's like, you have these guys are too good. You have to set them up. And the thing that excites me about having a Joey Bosa around all year, you got Bosa, you got Groot, you got Epinesa, you got veteran guys that can help him with his plan. I mean, Landon has been catching strays left and right. Landon's going to be a heck of a player. He's got to learn how to play in the NFL. And that comes, you have to have a plan as a pass rusher.
Yeah, and I talk about this all the time, even at the high school level. I don't care which rush you're going to use. Your best, your second best, your third, your fourth, or your garbage rush. You cannot run and give the guy your breastplate. Use a move, and you make them react, and you set them up just by virtue of variety. But if you run right into a guy, I mean, Jerry, you remember those days, man. It was like you took a play off. A guy just ran right into you. You want to thank him at the end and buy him an 8-pack of Sahlens. They're like, I appreciate the lack of effort.
It's what our tackles do so well. I mean, Deion invites the bull rush. Spencer Brown forces the bull rush. It's right. Two different ways to get to it, but they both do it. They get these guys to where the only option they have is the bull rush, and then they knock hands down and they win reps. So,
all right, real quick here, we slide into TJ Sanders, but I just want to show you the get off, just the speed off the ball, right? He ends up sliding into the center, but it's a great deal of athleticism, and he's gonna, the work is there. Secondarily, and I'll run this real quick. Watch Deion from a wide 3 lateral across. Now he doesn't maintain low pad level in order to press that inside shoulder, but that's a pretty good effort on the inside.
John, I'm not sure that Deion Walker can ever maintain low pad level. I think if he's down in a with his butt on the ground in a squat, he's probably still higher than the guard.
Relative low pad level, Jerry. Relative. I mean, it might be relative to Mount Everest, right?
Right. But watching TJ Sanders on the other side in this rep, this is an example of what he does well. He's in B gap, he swats and comes all the way back inside. He is a very, very quick guy, moves really well, can get penetration and tackles for loss, play on that other side of the line of scrimmage. He's got to learn, though, when the defense calls for him to anchor, he's got to learn how to anchor.
That's right. And Jerry, I got to, obviously the center knows the guard knows he has inside help from the center. All right. Even so, that quickness, if that guard sets him on a wide 3 like that, I think he's got a really good chance to win this rep.
Yep.
Just speed alone, getting to that inside shoulder as quickly as he does. Obviously, the guard doesn't have to react in real time because he has that help.
Right.
But if you put somebody, say, for instance, if Dorian Williams, rather than moving to his right here, if he sugars the center a little bit, that puts the right guard in a serious bind.
What we call this, when John and I played, we used to call this jet protection. And basically, this is a man slide protection. From the center, number 71 over is sliding. So they've got 3 guys to that side. Right now, they've only got 2 threats. If Andreessen was to come or a secondary guy would come, that would be the 3rd guy. On the other side is what they call the man side. So that left guard and left tackle have Walker and Jackson man-to-man. Will switch off stunts if they run stunts, but basically they do. Now, normally you have a back going to the man side to pick up anybody over there, but but in this case, they're flaring that back out to the flat. So if a linebacker comes or a blitzer comes, he'll get the ball immediately on the hot. So they're trying to get the mismatch by running guys off outside in the route. And if you have a blitz, they just dump it, and now they got open space with a guy with the football.
Absolutely. And Jerry, you're talking to my audience here, man. They hear that all the time. They know what slide is, bro. They know man side, slide side. And I have to say, in watching the game in real time last night, I thought that the Bears did a terrific job getting the ball out quick. We lament that there wasn't a great pass rush. Last night, there really wasn't a lot of opportunity. The ball came out super quick.
Well, the secondary was so poor at rotation and all that and getting where they need to be. I feel that, like I said, the safeties are catching so many strays. How can you be right when you got 3 guys running at you that are wide ass open? I mean,
Jerry, this is a D-line pod. Lay off the safeties.
I'm not on the safeties. I'm backing the I'm giving the safeties grace and love. But
lay off the corners and then the linebackers. Then I can open up Twitter and hear all that again for the next 10 hours. You kidding me? All right, last play. This is Landon Jackson. I might have truncated this clip a little bit. Sorry about that for everybody. There he is.
That's 14 down, by the way, in the New York Times crossword puzzle.
It is?
Yes, I believe it is.
Sorry, Jerry. Okay, it's Landon Jackson on your left tackle. Here he is coming off the ball. What I like about this move is it's got an inside-outside component. He doesn't shuffle. He comes right off the ball. Quick dip, rip. Jerry, give me your take, man. I'll run it again for you.
That's a new patented move with these defensive linemen. These defensive ends all have these personal coaches that teach them all this kung fu stuff, right? And this is the new.
Did you just go with kung fu moves, baby?
Yes, with kung fu. And if
are you gonna sing kung fu fighting right now? Because I think God, this is gonna
rewind the clip. Rewind the clip. So when you watch Landon Jackson come back, when you watch him come off, and he does this step right there, he gives you that step inside like he's going inside. That makes that tackle hesitate and throw his hands. Then you see that inside hand of Jackson's come over top of both hands and swipe. That is the kung fu, or paint the fence, or wax the car, or whatever Mr. Miyagi used to call it. But that's kind of why we've gone to independent hands in offensive line play, because of this. Look at that one step.
Exactly.
One step alone.
You stole my thunder, Jerry. Look at the tackle.
One step makes that tackle lean and drop his head. One step.
You want that tackle to be a dog in a butcher shop. You want him ass over tea kettle or tea kettle over ass. And then if you can get him extended a little bit more, the tackle does a fair job recovering. But had he just held the ball a little bit longer, I think Landon gets a hand on him.
And the other good news is, John, and you've made comments about this forever, and you can rewind it and go to the other side. And unfortunately, we don't see him till week 8 after the 6-game suspension. You want compression rush?
Yeah.
Michael Hoyt's not avoiding contact ever. He's going to get compression rush, and this is another example of it right here. Does he win this rep? I don't know. But look where that tackle is. He can't, these offensive players in the backfield, they run away from colored jerseys, different colored jerseys and things like that. When you got a tackle sitting in his lap, he's not going to be so quick to try to get over there. And even if he does, he's going to have to bubble. So again, great job of a compression rush by Hoyt. I know I sound like a broken record, but my God, I wish he was out there for the Baltimore game.
Well, at least it might reduce the, propensity for injury. What I don't like on this rep is TJ Sanders' width, right? He's got to learn as a young guy. He's going to try these lateral moves, but he's got to get his hips. He's got to start going upfield. He's vacated the middle a little too much. Deion Walker just does not have He's got the arm length, but he doesn't have the range with his legs to chase down both those A gaps right now.
No, that he takes him. Sanders basically takes himself out of the play. If Sanders wants to, his relationship to Hoyt should be right off his backside there.
Yeah, and you look right here, he's about 3.5 yards outside the hash, and now he's about 5 yards outside the hash. And we're going to have him even.
Right, because the other thing happens, John, and you know this because it happened to us all the time, and it's not a good situation. If Sanders shaves off that backside of Hoyt, now what happens to that Chicago Bears offensive lineman? He gets picked by those two bodies and actually frees Sanders up just by getting in the way. So by being real wide, that guard never runs into anybody, never gets picked.
All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed our little geek out session. This is what offensive linemen do. We call it a party. Typically, we had wings and beer. And on a really good day, Sahlen's hot dogs. But this is what we do. I mean, Jerry and I can go on this stuff for hours. I hope you guys take your time with a game. When you record it, go back, pick a player, watch him for a few plays. We don't expect you to dig in for 15 or 20 minutes on one guy for an entire game like we tend to do. But it really enriches your understanding of the game. It just helps your enjoyment of the game. And I think from the offensive line perspective, we're thinking philosophy and strategy. We would always love the defensive lineman to be less active, come straight into us. And when we see guys who are offering the type of capability, the activity that this draft class offers, we get really excited. Now, they're not there yet. But we also don't need to go down to the town square and hang these guys, right? I mean, they are just still working, and I believe, and I always believe, you give these guys a couple of years. Some guys come in, make an impact immediately. We don't have that right now. We might see it out of TJ Sanders. I think Landon Jackson's he's a project a little bit. Deion Walker is going to be a little bit of a project. But by and large, we got some terrific kids on this team, and I'm excited to see it.
I mean, I will say this. Even the guys picked in the top 15 of the draft, they're having growing pains as well. They're rookies for a reason, and rookies are rookies, no matter where they were picked. They're all rookies. They're all trying to learn, and right now it's, the old proverbial drinking from a fire hose, and it's just the way it goes.
Yeah. Give them a little bit of grace, and keep your eye on them. Hold them to a standard, but make sure it's a real standard. Jerry, look, loved having you, man. I love cutting up the film with you and talking about it. I'm really a huge fan of these guys. Really enjoy doing this with you. Again, it's the Sahlen's Off Tackle Show with John Fina, guest host Jerry Ostrowski, presented by FanDuel. Hope you guys, thanks for coming into the comments. Didn't get a chance to throw a lot of them up. Had some really great interaction in there. I love how you guys are going back and forth. You guys, hey, we got tons of content on Overreaction Buffalo. We hope that you like and subscribe, share it with a friend. Really appreciate you coming out tonight. For me, for Jerry Ostrowski, final thoughts, Jerry?
I'm good, man. If I start talking again, we're going to be here another 15, 20 minutes.
Woo! Wouldn't I love that? All right. I will say, go Bills.
Much love. Go Bills.